This is Chris Pierce, and you are listening to the Self-Maintenance of the Brain and Body podcast. Every week, I'll share with you a simple and easy to implement self-care idea and challenge you to create a positive change in your life. This is episode 3, and I'm going to share with you a tip of regulating thoughts and a breathing technique that can help you feel better and maintain a positive sense of well-being in the face of stressful events and negative emotions. So first, let me share a quote with you. This one is from Benjamin Franklin, and he once said, quote, "While we may not be able to control all that happens to us, we can control what happens inside us." So on a daily basis, we are exposed to the variables all around us that cause stress or negative emotions. When we react with someone or something that causes stress or a negative emotion, it's not them or the thing that's causing it. It's our perception or belief of what we observe about the event that triggers this response inside our mind. Now think about what I said in Ben Franklin's quote, emphasizing that we can control what happens inside us as we are exposed to these stressful events. We can learn to regulate and control the body's physiological response. I want you to reflect on the last time something upset you or you had a negative emotion. What did you feel inside your body? Where did you feel the negative sensations? Did your heart rate increase? Did your breathing become shallow? Did you have increase in chronic pain? Did your muscles twitch? Eyes get dry? Did you have cognitive issues? Difficulty thinking, focusing, and concentrating? These are all symptoms that we don't like, but we have the ability to regulate and control them. When we do not regulate the stress, not only do we have the physiological symptoms, but if you have a pre-existing issue like chronic pain, PTSD, depression, anxiety, those symptoms will increase as well when you don't regulate your stress as you're exposed to the environmental variables around you. So all of these consequences and the negative physiological effects you feel throughout in your body are a result of a stress response and a stress chemical release called catecholamines. So Dr. Stephen Parvati, the lead author in a 2022 publication on physiology, explains that catecholamines are the neurotransmitters dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine, and they're released throughout the body, causing these negative physiological effects. But the good news is that we all have the potential to regulate the negative actions as we're exposed to things around us triggering this response. So, the fight for flight, it's there for a reason. It's there to motivate us to react to valid threats. Yet a majority of the stressful reactions on a daily basis, they're really not valid. Our mind over time has developed these false narratives and interpretations of the things around us and beliefs that an invalid threat is actually a valid threat, and then activates these catecholamines, causing these negative feelings and negative emotions. And that's what we can do to regulate these to feel a more positive sense of well-being. So now let me walk you through an evidence-based approach to regulate stress and negative emotions throughout your day. First, I want you to think of an event or someone that caused you stress or something that causes you stress or negative emotion. So step 1, you identify the event. Step 2 is identify what are the physiological sensations throughout your body. Are you feeling your heart rate increase? What are those negative emotions? Are you getting upset? Are your muscles twitching? Is your breathing getting shallow? What are you feeling throughout your body, and where are you feeling that? As your body is automatically activated to a stress response, you have the potential to reverse these effects through what is called diaphragmatic nasal breathing. And you have the potential to reverse it through this breathing. So diaphragmatic breathing is when you're taking a deep breath and you don't feel your chest expand, you feel your stomach expand as the air is reaching the bottom portion of your lungs. So James Nestor, in his book Breathe, The New Science of a Lost Art, explains that nasal breathing activates the neural pathways influencing relaxation, while at the same time diaphragmatic breathing influences positive emotions through the mind-to-gut connection as it's pushing pressure down on the stomach as those lungs expand. So on your own time, I challenge you also to check out James Nestor's book, Breathe, and do some research into breathing techniques to apply those. So moving into the third step, after the breathing, the third step is determine why is your mind reacting this way? What is your belief about this event? What are you perceiving about it? Why have you came to the conclusion that your body should respond negatively towards this event? And you're going to break down that thought process. The fourth step is to develop an alternative belief or perception and to ask yourself, this really isn't a threat. It's no valid threat. And there's no reason that my mind should be reacting so upset this way. It's not the end of the world. The body should not be activating the fight for flight. The fourth step is to develop an alternative belief or perception. Change your thoughts and help reverse your mind's automatic reaction to perceiving this as a negative response that requires my body to release these catecholamines. My challenge for this week is to practice regulating emotions in the face of stressful things. Remember, it's not the things around us that cause us stress. It's how our mind chooses to respond to them. As I mentioned in episode 2, regulating stress throughout the day can also help fight insomnia. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week. You can learn more about this topic on my website, utah23.org. Also, please check out my self-care book titled Self-Health Andragogy, Self-Directed Learning Approach to Mental and Physical Self-Care. It's available on Kindle, print copy, audiobook. You can find the links to my website and my new book in the show notes of this podcast.